All right. So this is the demo. Got it. Um, all right. Whenever we're talking about context managers, we're talking about adding in a functionality that has a start or stop, a beginning and let's say some sort of a bracket around the things that you would like to let's see, if you'd like to set up or tear down things. This is the format to make sure this is happening. If you have an object that you're building, usually specify an init. This is, let's say, pretty typical for every object. It's going to be what instantiates how to build your class. But these are these other two dunder methods. If I use the word dunder, it's short for double underscore. These double underscore methods, they have two underscores at the very beginning and the end, dunder enter and dunder exit. If you put these on your class, you're turning this particular class into a context manager. Let's see, the context manager looks like this with statement. This is how I'm going to use it whenever I build this this context manager. So with, you've typically seen things like opening up files. So you have a file content manager. So if you open up a file, you can, now inside the enter, you can set the object that you want to pass back as an object inside your context manager, and then make sure to close that file whenever it's finished. Inside the with statement, that exit is going to trip or whenever the indentation changes back. So anything inside the with, let's say with open, text as file. While you're inside here, it will, or you've tripped the enter, and it will assign this object. It will keep on going with file right. As soon as you unindent, now from here, I'm outside of the context manager. So, all right. There's a couple of use case scenarios. So you've seen files. That's the most common. Having this open file, write the stuff inside your file. But you can do it for other types of situations like SQL. If you want to set up a table and also tear down that same table so you can use it for testing. In this case, I want to pass in an SQL context, add in a table name. This is just the default name. I can pass in something else. But the SQL context is going to keep your connection details, things like what host that database is on, what is your username and password, and it passes that into the SQL context. Now you can use SQL Alchemy type databases with it. So here's my SQL statement, create a table, and pass that into the SQL context and execute it. So at the very end, let's see, I would like to execute this drop table if it exists to make sure that I clean it up. So I've got this in the init. I'm looking at this, and you can create it whenever you start it. You can also put it inside the enter, but there's other scenarios. So let's take a look at timer. If you want to, or there's already a timer in Python. I wouldn't go and build your own, but if you want to understand how to build it, we can have a start time now. We can have, let's see, whenever we create this context manager, we can end it whenever we close out that section. And I would like to just print off the elapsed time after we get finished with that code in the with statement. Maybe you'd like to create a a user-defined object, something like a table context manager at a restaurant. Well, let's see. Whenever we get into it, let's say we're going to get the names, hey, your table awaits, and it's going to return an object, the table. So this object I'm going to be able to manipulate within that with statement. The exit statement, as I'm going to perform a lot of functions after the person gets finished with the table. Things like preparing the table, preparing the menus, cleaning the, but this is how to create your own type of objects. Now, a couple of things that I didn't go over is these parameters for exit. A lot of these are more for backwards compatibility with Python 2, but this is the traceback. This is a value, and this is the type of this value. I'm not, let's say, I haven't used value before. I have used the traceback portion of it. So I haven't, this is more for Python 2 related stuff that I understood. So if you would like, you can specify what to do with the traceback, but I've rarely used that one in these context managers. Let's say you can create a car context manager. Autonomous vehicles can take trips. So you need to start the car and shut down the car whenever you get finished, as well as maybe have some intelligence as to maintaining the trip information. How long has the car been traveling? Send that information to the car, to Tesla, something along those lines. So let's see. Then you can use that to make this pretty easy. So I created my car. It's got a trip already inside it. So we're going to head to the nearest Taco Bell. And while at let's see, car not at destination, let's see, we're going to ask the eternal question, are we there yet? And so keep on going with that. So far, any questions on context managers and how to put this into your code, make it look cleaner?